Good afternoon, everybody. This is Robin from Stamp with Dr. Robin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in beautiful San Diego, California, where it's a little cool for us in the 60s, but it's still sunny. So if you're outside, it's actually quite nice. If you're inside, my house is kind of cold, but it's still not snowing and freezing, so I'm happy. I am really excited about what we're going to do today because I'm going to introduce you to an entire new suite that's coming in the January through April mini catalog. If you are my customer, I'm going to be mailing those out shortly. And if you are not a customer with somebody else, I'd love to send you one. Hey Roz, thanks for watching. I got a whole bunch of announcements, some repeats from last time, but I know you guys are going to want to be getting into this new suite, so I'll be quick. Thank you for everybody who came to my Oasis class in Rancho Bernardo. I have a new one coming January 31st. I'm not sure all of what we're going to be doing, but we are going to be making these cute little desk calendars. I make them every year and I love the fact that there's a post-it note here. It was easy to grab because this sits on my desk, and I've got 101 uses for the post-it notes, and they are about to run out, but that's okay. I'm getting a new calendar, and so then we got the calendars on here. I make these for all my nurses and a lot of friends and stuff, and we're going to be making that at Oasis on January 31st. New kits online, perpetual birthday calendar, which is amazing. If you don't have one, thanks Roz. And a watercoloring one, which is also amazing, especially if you like to, like adult color. Remember that if you are looking on the website for what's going to be carrying over versus last chance, it is now called last chance and discontinued list. There is not a carryover list, but basically if it's not on the last chance list and you look on the discontinued and it's not there either, that means it's going to keep going. And those are going to change every couple of months. I've got an upcoming Valentine's Day class with the new Marbled Elegance suite. That'll be January 19th at my house, but you can always get it sent to you. We're going to be using a whole bunch of different stuff. The Marbled Elegance DSP, the adhesive back little hearts, and you're going to have a pack of paper and the little hearts and 4 beautiful cards and PDF to go with, and that'll be $30. For $20 more you get the stamp set, and for $50 more you get the whole bundle with it, as well as a celebration item. And you can have it sent to you for $10 more. Online products, new ones are coming in on January 7th, and we are going to be looking at one today that I'm very excited about. So without further ado, I am going to put you down here. Whoops, hopefully that wasn't too much drunken cameraman. Just going to try to find me on here and hope that we are somewhat straight on here. Nope, that's not it. Where am I? Okay, so this is the Floral Delight Suite, and I love yellow. Yellow is a happy color to me. I love the fact that it's just such a happy color, and those of you who are somewhere where it's really freezing cold will just love the fact at how fresh this all looks. So I'm going to move these for right now because I want to do the paper first, because y'all know how I love my paper. So this is the paper, and it's got, let me find the thing. It's called Floral Delight, and the colors in here are delightful, Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lolly, Old Olive, Peach Pie, Pecan Pie, and Pool Party. There's the Pool Party. You can see the little dots in here too. And it is just so beautiful. And if you think this side is great, Wait till you see the other side. You guys want to see these one by one? That's probably easier. Let's do it that way. Because the other side has these great, like, smaller ones. Like, they've already used, I think, something from each one of these. And if, hopefully I'll remember, but if I don't, you guys remind me. I have several different cards that I've made using this suite that I want to show you. Of course, this is going to be a real popular one, the checks. I don't know if you can see, these are kind of diagonal little dots and such. And then, as if that's not enough, this is your regular paper pack. Now you have a vellum paper pack. And the vellum, let me put it up behind here so you can see it a little bit better. Isn't that beautiful? And then there's a blue one with flowers. I like to put back mine on white because I think you can really see it better. And I love this one with the gingham. So that's the paper. And both of these are going to be in my paper share. I forgot to talk about that, so let's do that for a second if I can find one of my paper share things. Give me a sec, guys. All right, so here's a little information about my paper share. I decided that instead of just doing the 7, I believe it's 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, actually 7 because I didn't put the otters in there. I thought that was kind of specific, that some of us liked it and some of us didn't. 6 of the 7 papers in the January through April. And then I added 4 more of the online exclusive papers that come out January 7th also, and that's all for $43. I try to keep my paper shares in that price range. And if you need the Marble Elegance, also it's another $5. You get a quarter of each of those packs, including the one that we just saw. So we've also got some Daffodil Delight, really small 1/4 inch ribbon. And the teeniest little bees you've ever seen. Okay, these, you guys remember the bees from a few seasons ago? These are probably 1/3 of the size of those bees. They are really small. They're not, they're 1/4 inch total in wingspan there. And they're flatter too, so they'll mail pretty easily. Now this is the bundle, Delightful Wishes. Hey Becky, oh my God, the paper is beautiful. The bundle, I just wanted to get a price for you. The whole suite, if you buy all of it, is $89. The bundle is $49.50. So they're trying to keep most of them under $50, which is nice. So this is a photopolymer set, and you can see here, and we're going to be using these for today. It's, you know, a quadruple set to make the image. And then it's got this other little flower that's 2 stamps, and the wishing. And the exciting thing about the wishing is you can also have the layered wishing. Now, one thing I like to do when I get one of these kind of builder stamp set, not stamp sets, die sets, you can see that these are builder things, okay? Builder leaves, builder flowers. We got a really cool branch. We got these that just, I'll show you in a minute what those do. A little word die for all of these words. And then some that cut out, like this cuts out that flower. This cuts out these flowers once you do them together, etc. So what I did is I made a little kind of cheat sheet here. that shows you how you would build, for instance, this leaf. So you would take this one right here, this die plus this die, and you would get kind of a two-toned leaf. You know, you'd probably use 2 colors of green. I just did it like this to be able to tell you better. You would take this die, this other one, and this little center die. This is the 2 little centers dies for the 2 size flowers. Same with the big flower. We got these little blooms. And then the wishes, you can use this, or wishing, you can use, well, you could just cut it off and use wish also. You can use these alone, or most of the time I think you're going to want to double them up. There's your little word thing. And this is this die. Isn't that pretty how it does that? So it's kind of a little accent die. I love it when they throw that in. And before anybody asks, I did try to see if any of these would cut out stuff on the paper. I suppose you could cut out these little ones. You couldn't really do that because it would be hard to see. And this, you know, sort of could cut out some, but I wouldn't think it would be worth it. So that's that set. Now let me get the card that we're going to do today. So this is the card that we're going to do today because I really wanted to show you how to use this kind of builder sets. Now, the very first thing I want you to do, when you get this set, this is how I store extra little pieces, because what I did actually is I cut out flowers in all those different colors and then decided how I wanted to build. So when you get your little set and you see these 4, obviously I took them out, they are in the right direction on how you're going to use them. And so what I did for each one of these as I took them out, just so I wouldn't get confused later on, is what I did is I took a Sharpie, and see that little black mark? I put that on the underneath side on the top of all 4 of these, so I would know what direction these would go in, because as soon as you take them out, you're like, does it go this way, I don't know. And so that's a really important thing for me. And then when you're stamping them, if you keep that little dot at the top, you can see the next one here, you'll always be stamping in the right direction. And I did the same thing with these 2 little dies, stamps, is I figured out, for me anyway, where I thought the top was. There you go. On both of these. These dies, these stamps are rather forgiving. They're not like, you'll see when I'm stamping the other one, they're not really exact. But to me, this seemed right, and I didn't want to have to be doing this over and over again every time I was going to use it and try to figure it out. And so I actually did it on the die too, so that I said, okay, once it was cut out, it was kind of like that's the top there. I guess it's not exact, but it gets me close enough, because the first time I used this, I was going round and round and round and round trying to figure out how to cut it. So, and like I said, once you take it out of here, you're not going to get it back in exactly how you want it. So remember that when you buy this set. Okay, so you can see I used 2 of the papers here. So let's get going. The first thing, move that out of the way, we're going to do, and I did decide, even though I don't always use a piercing mat, I decided with this I was going to go ahead and do this. I thought it would be a little bit easier. All right. It is really pretty. I love this set. So this is some Lemon Lolly we're going to use with that first one. And remember that little black dot, I'm going to try to keep at the top. That's good. It's stamping better than it was the other day. I must have re-inked it. I've been re-inking a lot of stuff lately, I think. Our little Santa Anas that we had recently have been affecting my ink pads. Okay, so this is kind of the darker highlights. Now, knowing that this is at the top, remember I told you these are pretty forgiving here. But hold on, let me get another light on because I'm having a little trouble seeing it, especially upside down. This lemon lolly is so light, sometimes it's a little difficult. There we go. So you can see that these are kind of outlining, but I didn't get it perfect, and it still looks just fine. And then the next one I decided to do was the pecan pie for the little stems. That one's a little bit more important. I didn't put the dot here, but I think it's kind of obvious which way this one goes. All right, so we're trying to get these little stems to go to the right things as they go out. I'd say you do the top one. Hold on, and I'll show you once I do it. So you want to align this top one so it goes to the bottom of that little flower, and so that it comes off like that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's kind of a little abstract-y here. And then let's go with the old olive for the leaves. This is the one that made me go back and go, ooh, oops, I gotta get these dots on here, because these leaves, you really can't tell what's up or down. I mean, I love the fact that they're all on one, so you don't have to think about it too much. And how did I figure out where these go? Is actually, I just looked at one of their pictures to figure it out. So this little twosome goes right above where that branch comes off. All right. So like I said, you got to play around with it a little bit, but it really helps to mark them up when you first take them out. All right, and then I'm just gonna finish my stamping on the little tag here and do another birthday one. So it'll say, wishing you a happy birthday in the Daffodil Delight. There we go. With these little teeny ones, I definitely find it easier to cut it out first than stamp it. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is put that on. Get my thing. Okay, so we're gonna glue that on, and then we're gonna cut it out with our perennial postage die. So here's the die. So I think that'll be good like that. So this piece is 4 inches by 1 inch. The piece that I was working on is 3 3/4 by 5. Now I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute because I want that glue to be a little drier before we cut that. And instead, we'll work on some other parts of the card. All right, so this is our regular 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we'll fold on the score line. Burnish that good. All right, now I feel like I'm just making a whole bunch of shadows. Is that a little better without that? Maybe. And then this one I put on straight. And then the other one I kind of angled. And this is, again, one of the pieces of the paper. I think this little one kind of looks like burlap, the back side of this, so, or this side, which I kind of like. I think that's going to be really, really helpful. And then the other thing, so let's do the inside. So I got another piece that's 3 3/4 by 5. And then I'm gonna just take this extra little 1/2 inch piece and put it on the bottom. So you know how when you make 2 cards, usually you're doing 4 1/4 by 4 on the DSP, and you get left with that little piece at the bottom that's 1 1/2 inches? This is the perfect thing to do with it, because there's 1 inch and there's my 1/2. So I'm always looking for ways, sneaky ways to use that little piece on the back. And I think, you know, at the back, on the bottom, having this little edge piece here is perfect. We'll just cut off the little extra. And then we'll put that on the inside. Can't see that anymore. Kind of just finishes it off a little bit nicely. Okay, so next thing is we got to work on this wishing thing. So I did cut that, you know, there's 2 little pieces to this. I cut that big fatter one out of the lemon lolly. And now I wanted to show you the best way to use the other one, this little skinny one that says wishing. And the best thing to do is to take some of our adhesive sheets. Now, if you guys don't have these, you should be using them. I am always saying, oops, forgot to use that. And so this time I was like, oh, I'm going to remember this time, because this is the easiest way to glue on those little teeny pieces. And I'll show you what they look like. You get 12 of them in here, and they're big. I want to say they're 12 inches. Yeah, they're 12 inches. And they have this on the back. See the little thing here, so that it kind of makes it easier when you go to take them off. That's what I wanted to show you on there. So what I did is I cut a piece of my pecan pie and a piece of one of these. And then what we are going to do is stick this right to the back of our little piece here. Okay, and then we are going to cut that out, that wishing out. So let's bring in our machine. I could do this on the small one, but I don't think it'll work to do the perennial postage one. Alright, so I'll put that aside for a minute, come back to that. And then we're going to take our hopefully dry little one here, and when you have a big long, you know, flat thing, it's best to kind of do it like that to get it through the machine. It won't do that little clunky noise that it otherwise likes to do. Who else is here besides Becky and Roz? Say hi so I know who it is, because I can't really see my other machine here. I mean, my other phone. Isn't that cute? All right, so we got our wishing here. And I've got my back side of my take your pick tool to get all these little things out. And that's our little pecan pie thing. Now, one thing I want you to notice is there are these little dots. You can try to use these. See how teeny they are? Those are the dots for over the eyes. And once they're out, I basically couldn't find mine before, so that's why you'll see that I use something in place of those dots, but we'll get to that. So the next thing we're going to want to do, push that out, is peel off the back. And sometimes I've had trouble with this. Oh, this one's going to behave. There we go. And it peels off. You notice I didn't punch that out. It peeled it off all by itself. Yay, love this thing. All right, and I found it easier on this one to start with the H and go outward. Whether I was gluing it like the first time, I actually just glued it. Instead of, needs to be up a little bit, instead of using these sheets. And especially with gluing it, if you start in the middle, because see how easily this kind of stretches? Sometimes that can be difficult. Oh my God, this is so much easier with adhesive sheets than gluing, you guys. You have to use these. And just like the glue, it does seem to be easy to kind of move them around a little bit till you get them totally where you want them and then stick them down. So see down here, I'm going to lift it up and push it down again. Maybe I'm going to do that a few times just to try to get it in the middle. There we go. So you see how I've lost my dots? Well, they're right here. I have no idea how I would get the backing off of those. I'd have to use a little bit of glue and put it down. And then this one I can just glue straight down on here. Actually, I think I want to put this on first before I do that. All right, so I did use some dimensionals here on the back of my perennial postage. A big piece took a lot. All right, and I kind of wanted it to be not perfectly straight there. And then we'll just glue this one down. I did not put adhesive on the back because I found this one was really easy. You know, didn't really need the adhesive sheets. I also found that you could, and I did this on some of my cards, use some dimensionals and mini dimensionals on here. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Oops, I guess I should have made sure that's going to fit on there. Yeah, looks like it will. Probably could have made it go a little bit higher. Let's see if we can move it up just a smidge. There we go. And then this one, I used some mini dimensionals on to put this on. I'm assuming when they're making these, they actually think about this because I'm always surprised how perfectly the mini dimensionals will fit somewhere where I wasn't expecting them to. That first one came off already. And this one could actually use two. See how it's hanging off the edge? So these ones here already have one underneath plus that one. When you do this and hang it off the edge, it's best to just put another one right on top, and that way in the end they'll be even. Whoops. There we go. All right, and now to finish it off, I've got these pecan pie and clear ribboned adhesive back dots. And I think I'm on second or third package. That's why there's a few different packs in here. And I think what I decided to do is use a couple of these teeny ones. Maybe this will work better. Come on. Okay, well this one says you really should get a new one of these. And I don't know why, but I happen to have one right here. So that's how easy it is to change those, you guys. Let's hope that this is a new one, or is this a old used one? Well, that's not working well at all. Okay, well forget that. We'll just use the other end. Or fingers. Oh good, now it's gonna just stick to here. All right, so I decided I was gonna use those little guys because they're the right pecan pie color for my dots, because they are at least easier to work with than those little teeny ones. Now for my other one, I had actually used a large dot. This time I'm gonna use a little bee. Let's see. So the bees are so small, you guys. They are smaller than a glue dot. But I found that the glue dots are the best way to get these on because they're really gonna stick well. So what I did is take my little teeny bee here, put a glue dot on, make sure it's stuck on there, and then kind of roll. I guess I rolled this before I stuck it on here, but anything that's sticking over the edge, you just kind of roll under. Aren't they cute? All right. So we have our cute little cards. So here's one with a bee, and here's one with a little dot there. All right, so I promised you some other cards that I've made because I kind of went wild just making more cards here. So this was one. And here's another one. With this one, and let me know if you guys want me to some later date, show you exactly how I did. But this is all stamped on here except for that little part right there. And I used mostly this little two-step stamp there and those little dots. And the other thing that's kind of interesting about these little dots is on the paper, when it has this flower, it has them in the middle, but they're all stuck together on here, so you can either cut them apart, or what I did is I just used a pen, one of the markers, and just colored one in at a time. So there's another one. Now here's one that uses mostly the dies to cut out and make these three-dimensional flowers. I love this branch. I think that branch is going to be a fun thing to use. Here's another one, kind of almost a stepped up version of this one in terms of same little branch here, but a lot more going on. And then last one is another real stepped up one. And again, same flower as on here, and that's that little die that I was showing you that just cuts it out. So let me know if there's any of these other ones that you guys want me to make at some later time, because I just had so much fun doing these. All right, so let's put myself up here. Thank you, Roz. I finally have got all my cards done. They're not quite all sent yet because I'm waiting for some Shutterfly picture cards. But I figured, okay, I told myself I wasn't going to play with any new stuff until I got all my holiday cards out. So we're getting there, people. All right, so thanks so much for joining me. Next week I will pick another suite from the new mini catalog. And you guys let me know if you need anything or if you just need a catalog. See you next Monday. Bye.